One. Oh, there you go. Happy Thursday, everyone. Sorry for that glitch. Don't know what happened. Actually, there is a tornado warning in southern Ontario, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Hopefully not. But hello, everyone. My name is Regina Lena, and I am your host of the Pageant Sit Down. Welcome to episode 109. Typically, I do have my co-host Elizabeth with me, but she is busy at the moment, so it is just myself, which feels different. I started the show by myself without her, but it's nice to just be myself. Sorry, Liz, I love you, but it's a different feeling. But I'm super excited to have an amazing guest on today. I actually had the opportunity of judging her through one of her virtual pageants, and she is here with her crown and sash. Please welcome to the Pageant Sit Down, Marilou, your Miss Teen Personality Canada 2022. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Welcome to the Pageant Sit Down.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So Marilou, I had the opportunity, as I mentioned off the top, to have heard your story and to have judged you during one of your virtual pageants. But can you tell myself and our viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Marilou. I'm from a small town in Edmundston, New Brunswick, and I now moved a few months back in Calgary, Alberta, which is a pretty big move, but something I really wanted to do as I have the dream of becoming an actress, and the Western Canada is really interesting for that. So that was a pretty exciting thing in my life. I am going to go study at the University of Calgary, and I'm really interested in psychology and drama, which I hope to get bachelor's in later on in my life. And I'm also a really passionate writer and cat lover, as you can probably hear around my cat Salem. She's playing around, having fun, even if I do this interview. But my platform is also about self-confidence and foster care. I was a foster care cat child, so this really affected my confidence, which helped me create the Blossom Project, which is a blog and soon podcast helping youth learning more about self-confidence and mental health. But I later on switched to create a nonprofit, which I'm currently in the process of creating, to help youth at risk, and especially youth in foster care aging out, start your life on the right path with resources and help to really nurture a positive adult life, because it's not always easy to not get into bad things and like be able to further an education in what you love.
Well, first off, foster care is a huge thing, and I think that was one of the things that caught my attention when listening to your story. I think it's very brave for you to, one, experience everything that you have and to share it so openly with everyone. So thank you for starting that off. And foster care isn't something that everyone experiences, and it's not something everyone talks about. So that being one of your main focuses for your platform, I think, is very inspiring. You're very welcome. So what you mentioned, you want to be, you're an aspiring actress and all these things, but I want to jump into pageantry for a second. So
Yes.
why pageantry and why virtual pageants of all ones?
So it all started for me when I was really young. I was like maybe 6 or 7, and I remember in those like festival parades seeing girls with crown and sashes, and I was like, I'm gonna be one of them one day. And I remember my aunt was next to me, and she laughed, and she's like, that's a little hard. You can do better in life. And I didn't know what that meant. But then I understood that like pageants are not really well seen often, and it's actually taught that like it's anti-feminism sometimes. But I then like look more into it, because I was like, there's actually a lot of feminism in it, and I got really interested. And I never really had like really the push to go for it. But when I graduated, just before I graduated, COVID started, and it gave me the want to start something new. So I look into more pageants, and I was like, oh, that would be so awesome. You get a cause, you get to help people, you get to like really shine your light. And I was a lot bullied. So for me, it felt right to do something good. So then it all went that most of the pageants were actually online due to COVID. And I was not sure, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it and try. And the month after I graduated, I competed in Miss Teen Universe Canada, which was my first pageant in 2021. And I fell in love with it and I wanted to do more. So I started researching and really like upgrading my skills and my want to like help others into my reality to be able to do pageants and just look into it. And actually, it really helped me in my small town to show that pageantry was not all about just walking and strutting. It was more than that. It's the fun part, yes, but there is more implication and work and determination going into that. And that's what I wanted to show. And I think it made a pretty big difference in my area since a lot of other girls started competing after that.
Oh, look at you. You're a trendsetter.
A little, I kind of think so sometimes, but that's always fun to see that other people at any age gets like the push that they can do it too. So that was really something I was proud of.
That's amazing. Well, that's so exciting. And I think everyone's journey is different in life and in pageantry and how we get to pageants. So, what is it about pageantry that, you've jumped into this world now? Why do you stay? Why do you continue? Because I feel like I think I've judged you maybe twice in
Yes,
virtual pageants.
I think
So,
so.
what is it about pageantry that you're like, yes, I found my place?
So for me, it's the fact that I enrolled so many passions of myself into it. When I was younger, I was all over the place. I was doing acting, I was doing debate speech, and then I was helping in my community, and it was all over the place, but all in so many different areas that couldn't really relate together. But in pageants, I get the chance that they all relate, they all make sense. You get to know amazing people that will stay in your life, and it also helps you push through because one thing that I really believe in is you surround yourself with the people you want to be like. Because why surround yourself with people that doesn't have the goal, the intention of going further in life if that's what you want? Because it's going to be harder to just push through when you don't have the support. So having the chance to be in pageantry really helped me having this mindset of keep pushing even when it's hard, because I see all of those amazing women that are going through tough times and are still trying their best to help others by helping themselves too. And I think it's amazing. And I just love the passion, this like the strength and the determination that goes in everyone's journey. So it's always exciting to see. And just honestly, it's really good for self-confidence. You always feel better after you did a pageant because you know that like your performance was always a little better than it was, and you always work more. So it really helps like in who you want to be. And I think that's a really good thing that keeps me in pageants.
That's amazing. So let's talk acting. So you mentioned that you dabble into a little bit of acting. Where do you find similarities, or how have pageantry? Because you do both, right? So
Yeah.
how does pageantry and acting go hand in hand for you?
Yeah, so basically, like I said, when I was younger, since I was younger, I always said I was going to be an actor. And pageants actually, like the search into pageants, really started for me because I knew it could be good for the acting and modeling career. And now
Mm.
in the pageant world, I see a lot of girls that are going into modeling and acting. And as someone that just moved to Alberta, where there's so many opportunities, but in New Brunswick, there is not. It gives me the chance to
Mm.
know different agencies, to know different places, tips, tricks, classes that I can learn from. And it really helped me bring this confidence that pageants gave me by competing, even virtually, because virtually you have to do a lot of videos and a lot of retake and everything.
That's
So that
true.
kind of prepares you to like learn script and get the confidence to like be focused on this. And it really
Mhm.
helps me like when I go on theater clubs and everything to like work on my skill that I have already built a little with pageants, because my script that I haven't had for my intro that I have to repeat and repeat even if I'm tired, it makes it easier because I'm like used to it now for like theater. So I really love doing both that way, and it just gives you again a lot of different connections since both worlds are a lot intertwined for different girls.
It's true. So when you say acting, are you looking more into like theater and plays or film and commercial?
my dream is to do film and commercial, but like I said, I've just moved here, so I'm currently trying to get into agencies or like little non-union thing to get my work and experience started. But as I'm from a small town in New Brunswick, I didn't really get that chance, so I was mostly doing
Mm.
theater things since I was younger. I did a few
Hmm.
commercial way back when I was like 8, I think, but
Yeah,
since then, it mostly been theater, so that's where my experience is mostly. But I'm trying to get more bigger, and that's why I came in Alberta.
that's awesome. So, okay, wait, why Alberta and not Toronto? I feel like that's where the
I
acting.
know, I know, I heard that a lot. So basically, for me, there was like three choice, which was Calgary, Vancouver, or Toronto. And
Mm-hmm.
Toronto does have a lot of it, but I loved the education I could get in both of my program in Alberta, and I knew like
Mm.
Calgary had more opportunities to like compare to Edmonton, or like if I went to like into Quebec or something like that. So I was like, well, the education is good and it's a good jump start. Plus, I have a few friends here that are in the industry in Alberta, so they could help
Mm.
me like get into it and like help me like remove the scaries and like the ADHD rises around it to really
Mhm.
go into the world. And I think that's really what got me started of like, okay, I'm actually going to do this. And then
Mhm.
I'm like, we never know. I can always move to Vancouver, Toronto
Yep.
later on. There's nothing really attaching me. So I can just do my school and work on the side in acting, try my best, and we'll see where life brings me.
That's awesome. No, I was just curious because I was like, I know a lot of actors in the city, right?
Yeah.
So when you're like, I moved from one small, I was like, wait, how does that's
Yeah.
great though. I think that's amazing, and I think it's awesome that you have your bubble and your support there, and your school there. I mean, you're Miss Teen personality. You have so much ahead of you. But for those who are watching, I know Miss Teen Personality is a fairly new pageant system. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about the pageant?
Yes, so personality pageants are actually empowered by personality because it is all about who you are and really bring that aspect up on front. So when I competed at first, personally, I didn't have to do evening gown or nothing like that. It was just outfit of choice, which was what you were feeling confident in and really who you were. Now it's going in person, so there's a little more things going on, but it's really exciting to see like that you get a lot on your platform and your interview, which is good for girls to like learn more about it. And
Mhm.
I really felt like it was like the best pageant for me for now because I really wanted to work on my skills and
Mm.
create like long lasting movement, which is what I'm currently working on. And I felt like this pageant would be helpful for it. So now we're going in person, so it's sure that like there's more categories, more activities, but it's also super fun because all those blended and amazing personalities, different sizes, different backgrounds are all gonna get
Mhm.
together, disabilities or not, and it's gonna be really exciting to see what comes from it. And like also gonna online what I found it was really good because we could learn like from disabilities, different backgrounds, different like stories, and in
Mhm.
person we're gonna have even more the chance of doing that. So I'm really excited for nationals next month.
That's awesome. So, do you know if they're still like accepting applicants
I
or
don't
has,
believe so. I am
okay.
not sure. Do not quote me on it, but I
Mhm.
don't believe so, as it is like in 20 something days. But it is still like there is the virtual regional happening. I know pretty soon, like in 2024, which will be
Mm.
online, I believe. And there is Queen Alberta for the Albertan girls. There is Miss Queen and Miss Queen Teen Alberta happening. I'm not sure when for 2024 in person. So that's going to be pretty exciting.
Sure, I put the links in the description. So, for all those who are interested in learning more about the personality pageants, it's down below. So, okay, so you won Canada. Does that mean you are going to compete? Oh, so do you get to compete at in 20 something days?
So I compete. No, this one in 20 something days is in like the nationals. I'm gonna be giving up my
Okay.
title,
Oh
but
no.
I know it feels weird, but I did compete internationally once for Miss Teen Personality Americas, which was a
Mm.
really good experience. I ended up top three, so I did second runner up and my first international pageant. And then I'm heading up next in person for the first time for Miss Teen Personality World in the next year. So that's going to be pretty fun.
Ooh. Okay, so wait, have you competed in person or has all your pageants
I
been
never
virtual?
did in person. I started in 2021, so like with COVID and everything, I
Yeah.
never did in person, which is a little bit scary, but with coaching and like just feeling confident, it's gonna go so quick and gonna be amazing. So I'm really excited for the experience.
Well, I'm excited for you. So let me ask you, and I used to ask this to all of my guests before, and for some reason it slipped my mind. But so you've had the experience of doing a bunch of virtual pageants. What would be your dream pageant? Like if you can compete, money wasn't an object. What would be your dream pageant to compete in?
I don't know. There's a lot of pageant that interested me in the years since like I started looking. It is sure that I want to do more like maybe in the Miss Personality pageant, but my dream pageant ever would probably be like something like Miss International or Miss Universe, just because
Ooh.
it is an amazing pageant and it's pretty cool, and you also get so much room to be able to like in such a good platform to be able to make a change. So I feel like
Mhm.
if I like when my my sorry, I lost the word in English. When my
It's okay.
nonprofit actually comes and glorifies, I think it would be a really good pageant to do Miss Universe Canada just to give me a little bit more boost. And also, I don't know, it feels like a really good experience to live.
It is. I think both pageants are awesome and they both have
Right?
such beautiful messaging and they're grand slam pageants. So who wouldn't want to
Yes.
dream big, right?
No, exactly. That's the thing. Like, you have nothing if you don't dream. So why not dream and have fun with it? Let's see what comes from it.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, actually, Miss Universe is going to be in your neighboring province
Oh,
shortly.
really?
And yeah, it'll be in British Columbia this
Oh
year.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wanted to go see it. So I'm like kind of hoping I might go. I'm not sure yet. Depends on everything because school starts soon after. But we'll see.
Mm.
That could be interesting.
It'll be fun. You can see where you manifest everything while you're there.
Exactly, exactly. And there's so many like amazing candidates this year, so I'm kind of excited. I know like Melanina was your sister and everything, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to see like what happens because there's so many like big queens that are in this pageant
Mm-hmm.
this year. So I'm like, oh, that's gonna be fun to see.
Yeah, for sure. There definitely is. I know Jessica is competing again. It's just gonna be
Madison,
Madison is competing again. It's a big it's
right?
I can
It's a
I
big
can see our
year.
top five. I can see our top five already, but it's going to be amazing to see who wins. And regardless of who wins, they will represent Canada 100% to the T.
Amazing.
hmm
Exactly.
I actually do have an Instagram question for you.
Ooh.
But before I ask that, if there are any viewers who are tuned in live right now and have any questions for Marilou, please leave them down below in the live chats, and I will be more than happy to read them out to her. But starting our Instagram questions, one of the questions is, how have pageants changed your life?
For me, it really bring me a lot of confidence. When I started, I was starting yes because I wanted a hobby, I wanted something different. But the truth was, like I said, I was bullied a lot. So I was like, oh, maybe it'll make me cool. And disclaimer, it does not because yes, some people are interested, but some people think you're really weird for posting a lot of crown and sash and everything. But I still kept going because I realized that yes, I was advocating for self confidence, but I could be way more confident in myself because I was not judged, I was not ashamed, and it just made me felt really good about myself. And it actually helped me know what I wanted to do in my life because I was really lost, I wasn't sure. Sadly, with COVID, it made it hard to know what you wanted to do next when you were going to
Mhm.
university and etc. So it made me realize that my life was my whole life and I was able to do what I wanted with it if I just go for it. And what I want, if I work for it, the success is going to come after. And that's what pageant teach me a lot and changed my life with because I never thought I would be here today. But then again, I still have the chance to fight and go for it for what I want. And that's pretty much it.
That's a great question and a great answer. So, Marilu, I wanted to ask you, are a student, you also are a title holder, and And I know you mentioned that you're giving up your title shortly, but you're also an actress. So how do you manage your time wearing different hats, or I guess crowns?
Honestly, it's been really hard. So I have ADHD, which makes it really hard sometimes with like ADHD paralysis because you get so overwhelmed that you feel like you cannot do anything, and it just feels like you're lazy, but you're not. It just your brain is like you're not. You have enough. You're gonna lay down and just wait until time pass. But I've been honestly organizing a lot in my daily life just to keep my brain for going everywhere, and also just because everyone needs a little. But the big thing that helped me manage everything was to be honest about what I could do and could not. Often it was taking too much on my shoulders, and then I was like, oh wait, I can't do that much. And so I learned how to put boundaries for myself a lot and talk with the people that were involved. So, example, talking with my director and talking if I wanted to do theater in my like area, I was all out talking with them about different days I had pageant things or school things, just so everyone was aware of what was going on. And because school was always my priority and I can't really change school deadlines, so
Mhm.
I was like putting that first, and I was like, okay, I can do this event, for example, or I can do this practice for theater, example, but I cannot like be more than this time, or I might be late because I have an exam, I have something to study for. And by communicating with others, I think really help like ease the ADHD symptom and the anxiety that having many hats can bring, because I was
Mhm.
able to know that like at least they are aware and I'm just trying my best. I'm still human. So it was just really managing with everyone, and having the communication aspect made me feel better, because if they understood, at least I didn't have to like explain myself every time.
No, that's a good point because I know there's, especially in the teen division or in the Miss division, it gets hard. It's crazy to think that I just said that because there's every division, every age group has their own
Yeah.
struggles, right? So whether
No,
you're
exactly.
still in school or you're working and you're managing life, but no, I think it's great, that you have a. I know I mentioned your group and your community earlier, but having that support. I mean, your director is amazing. She definitely makes sure that her queens are taken care of. And then it's awesome
Oh
that
yeah.
you also have your theater community helping you too. Like you said, school you can't really change much. So
No, exactly. But it's always a priority, especially like with university. You're paying for it, so you want to make it like what you're going to prioritize. So it's
Mhm.
always been my priority number one, but then I'm honest about doing everything I have. So it gets really things easier when you're trying to add projects or remove things to like not get anyone mad and not having that pressure on you.
Oh, that's great. I think that's awesome. I just looked at the time, and so we are actually at the halfway point of our show. It's incredible how fast time goes when you're just enjoying your conversation.
It
But
really
we do
does.
have, it does, doesn't it? But we do have a segment on our show, which is 5 tips from a beauty queen. And I mean, having your experience with virtual pageants and getting excited to be back on stage soon, what would your 5 pageant tips be for all of our viewers watching?
That's a question I thought about a lot, but I think my first thing would be to know your worth and where you're going with your pageant journey. Are you doing it just because you want to compete and you love like walking and strutting and competing vibe? Or are you doing it for purpose? And if so, what is your purpose? What are you gonna work with it? And what's the plan? Because often I see people coming into pageants and they're not sure what's their plan, and they get really lost when they win. And that's something that makes me sad, because my second thing is to like love your platform, love what you're doing. If you do not enjoy your reign, you're gonna see it, your director is gonna see it, the viewers are gonna see it, and sadly it's gonna affect all areas of the pageant and not only your life. So you're not gonna like it, but no one else would be much interested if they think, oh, the queen's not having it. Like, why would I want to do that pageant? And like, if you're having fun with it and you love what you're doing and you know your worth, it's gonna come so much clearer what you're gonna do next after the title, and why you're here. Because that's the thing I think about pageant. You are doing pageant for a reason, and it's kind of the reason you're doing it is actually a little of your purpose in life, because that's what you dream of doing, and that's what you want, you think you've been on this earth for. So have a platform. Number three, have a platform or a cause or anything you're working on during your year that is truly something you believe you're born for. Like the thing that you saw in your life and you're like, this is missing or this is a meant to be, and work towards it in any way. If it's about something that isn't really like a cause you're defending, well, find a way to adjust it to your pageant journey, but find what you're meant to be. Like what is your why in life, and not only in pageantry, because sometimes you have two different whys and it's good to combine them so you have the best time of your life. Number four is to think of yourself. Sadly, a few times during competition, I kind of lost myself because I had so much going on, and the pressure of competing kind of like made me lose my focus. But then I realized that I'm still me if I just give my go and try my best. So that's what I would tell you to do, to try your best, give your go, but think about yourself. Like be there for yourself first, because you're the queen of your life and you need to be there for you if you want to be able to help others and be the queen for a pageant system. So yeah, and number five would be to just enjoy the moment, honestly, because sometimes often like even like with nationals coming in a few weeks, I've been such in a hurry to figure everything out and just prepare my farewell and the clothes and everything, but I often forget that in a few days, in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, this is all going to be done. So enjoy the moment, have fun with it, have fun with the title and what you want to do with it. Enjoy the events. Don't pressure yourself too much. Oh, it's to raise money for this cause, whatever. Have fun with what you're doing. Really enjoy it. And during competition, enjoy it, because you're so stressed and worried about your interview and your clothes and all of this. And I get it. Honestly, I do, because even online, I like worry a lot about this stuff. But it's gonna be done way sooner than you think. And at the end of the day, you won't be proud of yourself if you barely remember the week you've just spent, or the months, or the days that you spent preparing and being at that pageant. Because when you're such in a fight or flight mode competing, you forget, and you don't want that for yourself. You want to have the best experience and to be proud of yourself and all the hard work you did. So that's pretty much what I think it is for me.
That's awesome. Those are five amazing tips. Those actually are like, I mean, I say that everyone's tips are so different and so unique, but I loved what you said about, being there for you, being there in the moment, because it's true. You do get consumed with everything around you, virtually or in person, right? Like in terms of virtual, it's like I'm sure you do self tapes for acting. It's like the same thing. Like you want to make sure that you get the right shot, you get the right interview, the right intro, the right evening gown, whatever it might be. So I love that. Be there in the moment, be there for yourself. I love what you said about your why and maybe combining the two. I mean, that's what I did with my platform. So I think it's amazing. And I know your platform is very close to you, which I do want to talk to you a little bit about. But before we talk about your platform, Hanya is in the chat and she says, amazing tips. I agree. Be honest what you can do and can't do. So she was talking earlier about your tips with managing your different crowns and hats in life. And then she also says, I can't wait to see you crown your next Miss Teen Personality Canada at Nationals next month. So I guess she'll be there.
That's exciting. That's always fun to know and see people coming, because it's going to be, I think, a pretty cool event since it's the first national in person. So that's going to be really fun to see who gets crowned and how the event goes on.
So where is it going to be? Is it going to be?
It's going to be in Calgary, actually. So
oh, wonderful.
That's fun. It's like just a commute for me. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, since like the pageant is based and all started in Alberta, it was pretty fun to keep it here for the national. So that's exciting.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your platform. Tell us about your not-for-profit and your goals and dreams for it.
Awesome. So like I said, I changed my platform not so long ago. A project of mine I always wanted to start for almost a year now was a nonprofit for foster care. I always knew I wanted to work with foster youth, But the thing is, personally, when I aged out, the aging out in New Brunswick age is 19. So since I was living in apartments since I was 16, I still had help money for youth and care. And when I was 19, the check got cut, and it made me realize how hard it is to have barely support, barely help, trying to figure out your life. You have so many goals, so many years coming up for you, but you are attached by the neck because of financials. You don't have support. You never really have been teach about how to budget. And even I remembered when I was starting an apartment at 16, I didn't really know how to cook, how to clean, barely. And it was really hard that to like not have all those lessons in life. And I imagine people that didn't have anyone at all. I was thankfully had a few good persons in my life, but I imagine those that didn't have it, because even for me it was really hard, and I felt like this was something that needed to be done. And I prayed so long for have help, and I didn't have it. So I was like, why not become the help you want? Because the thing is, like I said, I always wanted to work with foster youth, but I didn't know in what way. And so in the spring, I decided I was actually going through with this in the winter, actually. And I started the steps to start a nonprofit and everything. It's kind of going slowly right now as I have many hats managing, but I am working on creating that nonprofit. I'm working with therapists and doctors, and I'm working with social workers to implement this different resources to help youth aging out or living alone that are youth at risk, but mostly foster youth, help start their life in the right way with resources like living resources for housing, food, and everything that is life needed. And then I also want to really help for hobbies, because a big thing about having mental health issues or struggling during finances and stuff is to have hobbies, but it's so hard to find hobbies. And like often you're like, oh, I don't have the money. And it's true, often hobbies are led by money. So I want to help with activities, and just so you can learn each other, like teach each other. And we're actually working on partnering with an agency to create a camping activity for next year during the Queen Elizabeth weekend. So that's going to be pretty cool. It's like a camping trip with everyone implicated and the no-profit in that time. And that's going to be very interesting, and I'm excited for it. So that's going to be fun. And then we have education, which is a really important one for me as I'm trying to go to university. So I want to help with scholarships and also help youth that wants to go post-secondary studies, to help them find the resources and the right path for what's for them, and like just help them with that and everything we can. But that's mostly what we're going to be concentrating on.
I love that. I think, what you said, where you couldn't find the help, so you became the help for other people. I think that's amazing, because I'm sure there are many youth out there that don't know what to do next, right? Like you said, you hit 19 and you're like, where'd my money go?
No,
Right?
exactly. And it's so hard to like have an idea of what you're going to do or what's your goal if you don't have money. And that's the sad part, because everything is down to money. And it's sad that like all your things you're working on just goes away because you're aging out. And I feel like it is really sad for a lot of people, because a lot of them don't even go in an apartment younger. They just go from foster care to living alone. And there are some groups that are helping to like the transition and everything, but from what I saw when I was in foster care, it's not all regions that are like that. Personally, they literally, like, there was someone in my foster family, they were like, oh, we're gonna help you. I saw him back a year after that. He never helped him, and he was like really scared and not knowing what to do. And the sad part about all of this is that a lot of foster youths before the age of 25 end up killing themselves because they didn't all have the resources, or they ended up in substance abuse, and didn't know what to do with their life. They didn't have goals, because it's hard to have goals when you don't have support. So that's a little bit what we want to do with mentorship support, and really just know that we're here and we understand, because we see it either as working professionals or as youth that aged out. And that's mostly what the board is going to be. It's going to be a 50-50. So with therapists and professional in the industry, but also youth that lived it and understood it. So we really have youth for youth working.
That's amazing. I literally have goosebumps as you're talking about this. Marilou, I said, you're an inspiration to many. And I think people hearing your story and learning more about your non-for-profit, it's going to grow, and it's going to grow quickly. And I hope that I know you're giving up your title in a couple of weeks, but I hope that you continue this with or without your title and sash, because you are going to change the lives of so many people. And I do want to connect you with someone I know in Alberta that might be able to help you along the way with your journey as well. No, I think what you're doing is phenomenal. So if people wanted to learn more about your non-for-profit or connect with you, whether they want to make a donation or they want to help in terms of services, where can people find you?
Yes, so currently we're still in the paperwork process and kind of takes a long time. We're hoping to have it done by the end of August. So, but I'm still uploading a lot on Instagram about it so people know a little. And you can always reach out to me personally if you want to be on the board or need help. It's all over Canada that's going to be. So it's just the paperwork set up. And we hope to be all in action by September, like start of September once the paperwork is done. But if you're interested in getting implicated or need support, you can always reach out to us and we'll get you started and try our best to support you while we can.
Awesome. So, Marilou, if I can ask you to email me all of that contact information and all the links. And so after today's show, so if you're not watching this live, the links will already be in the description. If you're tuning in live, it will be in the description. So come back afterwards or follow Marilou on social media to get more information. But first off, I just want to say thank you for opening up your story and being so vulnerable about everything. I know I said that off the top of the show, but I think, people hearing your story and your journey is going to make that impact. And having your non-for-profit and your platform is also going to change so many people's lives. And imagine all the little girls who are going through foster care right now, or even the little boys who are going through it, and somehow they stumble upon this interview or they stumble across you online. They're going to see like, oh, wow, it is going to be okay at the end of this, right?
No, exactly. Like, it's just a way of thinking, like, things are possible and that, like, you can always make things better if you want to. I'm actually reading a book right now. Her name is Jazz Jordan, and she's from New Zealand, and her book is, like, Stop Surviving, Start Fighting. And she kind of had the same relating stories to things I lived in the past year. And it made me realize a lot. She dealt a lot with mental health, and she wanted to end her life many times. But now she's literally a mental health advocate all over the world, really popular, when Dancing with the Stars and everything in New Zealand. So she's really, like, in 6 years, she switched her life, have 3 books out. And I say 6 years, but it started way before, but she's still having her success, and she's just 26. And at 20, she's like, it was the last time she tried ending her life. So it is pretty, like, interesting to see that story, because it proves me that when even I'm going through hard times, it's always possible to change your life and work for what you want. And I think that's, like, me sharing my story and having the Blossom Project about self-confidence and starting this new nonprofit. I think it's kind of like the same thing in a way, because it does bring the hope of, like, okay, if I really want to, things can change. It can be possible.
No, it's true. And to all those who needed to hear it, you're welcome. No, I think that's amazing. You're truly an inspiration, and I cannot wait to see where this takes you, where this path takes you. I do want to ask, speaking of paths, though, what's next for you in terms of pageants? I mean, you're actually, you said you're competing.
Yeah, I'm supposed
again,
to
right?
compete in the personality pageant world. We're kind of thinking about if I'm gonna switch categories, as I'm, like, a little old for teen, but we're kind of looking into everything, see what's our options, and we'll see where that brings us. And then after that, I don't know what's gonna be next, but I'm excited to see and just work with my platform in the meanwhile and create my nonprofit and just do what I want and do my best.
I love that. I love to hear it. So what are you looking for? So this is gonna be your first time on stage.
Yes.
What are some things that you're looking forward to on stage versus the virtual world?
Well, the thing is going to be really exciting because a lot of girls competing that have like regional titles, like a lot of them are like, competing. I already knew them from other competitions, and a lot of them have regional titles, others don't. But a lot of those girls are either my sisters or I competed with. So that's going to be fun to finally see them in person and an exciting like new welcome and meeting. And it's going to be interesting to see that bond in person. But I'm also really excited for like my farewell moment, which kind of sounds weird because I know I'm going to end up crying on stage, but it's going to be fun to see like everyone with big gowns and the big like really pageant moment that I never really had to have. So it's gonna be fun to crown my successor in that state. It's actually like something I've been talking about to Sophia since I got crowned. I was like, Miss Universe Canada needs to be in person. It needs to be in person. And she was like, I don't know, we'll see. It's fun that it's online. It's more like accessible. But she was planning all alone. It was announced in November it was going to be in person, and I literally cried because it was a little bit of my little girl moment getting to crown my successor in person and everything. So I don't know. I'm really excited to see who's next and what they're gonna do. So I feel like my farewell moment is one of like my top 3.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for you. I hope Sophia puts it on. I know it started virtually, so I'm hoping she airs it virtually for everyone.
Well, I do believe it's gonna be. I'm not sure, but I know Queen Alberta was last year, so hopefully it will be this year, like the national online. I really hope so because my best friend, I actually met her in Pageant, but she's my lifetime best friend. She's in New Brunswick, so she won't get to come. But I'm like, you need to watch it. You need to see it. So I really think it's gonna be, but I'm not sure.
I'm excited that Sophia actually brought it to the live stage. I mean, she's such an entrepreneur and such a wonderful person that I cannot wait to see her success come to life on stage too. It's like this is her baby. Yeah.
Exactly. And she's been working so hard for it. So that's really gonna be fun. Plus like Queen Alberta, I didn't get to go, but I heard a lot about amazing comments. So I'm like excited to see like the delegates like experiencing this, title holders, and Sophia and all the team seeing all their hard work coming up to like success and fruition, because it's a lot of work that came into that pageant. It's exciting to see how it's going to grow and come bigger with the years. So that's always fun.
Exactly. And I can't wait to see you do the Worlds one as well. So speaking of Worlds really quickly, you haven't done on stage competition. How are you preparing for that?
So currently I'm looking for sponsors and everything to help me in my journey, as financially it's not the best. I'm still a student and everything. But I'm just hoping to like start runway. I do a lot of practice with my friend. My best friend talked about. She is a runway queen.
Give her a shout out.
Jessalyn Fontaine. She was Miss Teen Personality in New Brunswick, and yeah, so we've been pretty much attached to the hip since her first virtual pageant, which I think you actually judged Grateful Givers, right? She was in it. Yeah, she was in it, and since then she's been with me since then. She is amazing. But yeah, so basically she's been teaching me a lot about runway. Especially I had a hip surgery 8 months ago. Yeah, I had a hip replacement. I'm pretty young, I know. But
you're so young.
I know. I hear it a lot, but things happen. It was figure skating, so it did destroy a little bit my hips. But so she's teaching me how to like walk normally now, because my pageant walk was like the way I was walking to make sure my hip was not snapping. So now she's like helping me prepare, and we do a lot of interview practice in both language because she's bilingual too. So it's always good to have the both language in case you have a judge that speaks French and everything. So it's always fun to do that with her. But I'm looking to getting more coaching, and honestly, I've been working a lot on my platform and my not-profit, because that's really what I want to have the chance to show during the pageant. So that's going to be fun.
I love that. I love that for you. I think, you are so young and you've gone through so much, and I know that this is just the beginning of everything. Speaking of you being in Alberta, we have another Alberta queen. Janice McGregor is in the chat. She
Mm.
says, "Hi, Marilou. Good seeing you. I haven't seen you since you slayed your interview."
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a while actually. Yeah. I think it was when I competed in Miss Personality Americas. Uh, but that was really fun. I had a lot of fun with that interview. It was the first interview actually I got out, and I was so excited. I was like, that was fun. Like usually you're like, oh, I did this wrong, I did this right. I was like, that was fun. I had fun. It was amazing. I loved that time.
That's amazing. Well, I love that for you. And as I mentioned, there's a lot going on in your life, and a lot of amazing things are going to come in your direction, and all the things that you do for everyone. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see your platform grow, to see your non-for-profit grow, to see everything come together. So for myself and everyone else to be able to follow your journey, where can people follow you?
Yes, so you can follow me on Instagram, which is Marilou, Marilou.Landry. And then I'm not really active on YouTube or TikTok yet, but I'm hoping to get this on. So it's my name, Marilou Landry, and on TikTok, Marilou.Landry again. And I don't have the nonprofit like social media set up yet, but I'm also working on the Blossom Project blog that I'm hoping will be out in a few weeks with the podcast. So that would be on the Blossom Project, the Blossom.project on Instagram.
Amazing. And before we wrap things up, are there any last words you'd like to share with our audience today?
Well, I want to thank everyone for joining in. It's always exciting to get to share about my journey and what I want to do. And I just want you to just honestly go out there and bring back the crown, bring back what you want in your life, crown or not. You just need to bring the hope in your life and work with what you want. It's not always easy. I've been through rough times, like many times in my life, and I'm not wrong to say that as a victim or anything. I'm just saying if you don't go for it, and if you just stop and be like, oh, I can't, you're not gonna get it. So go for it, be out there, enjoy life, and do what you want with it, because you only have one chance.
I love that. And on that note, thank you, everyone. I'm just going to pull my social medias in. I know Elizabeth isn't here with us today, but make sure you follow her. I know I believe her Instagram is Miss Captivating Canada 2023. You can also follow her, Elizabeth Marnock Pageantry on Instagram. I hope I'm saying these all right. If not, watch last week's. I think so. If not, watch last week's, and then she'll recap everything. And I know she's also very busy with Canadian National Miss. Her pageant is just around the corner, so make sure you follow. It is. I hope to see you there one day. And if you would all like to follow my journeys, so I have officially launched my pageant coaching social media pages. So it is pageantcoaching.reginalena, or you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at It's Regina Lena. And since you're already here on YouTube, you might as well hit the subscribe button. If you enjoyed today's episode and all of our episodes on the Pageant Sit Down, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell, whatever it might be, and follow us on social media. We are on Instagram and Facebook at Pageant Sit Down. We're thinking about Threads. We're not too sure. Are you on Threads?
I am actually. I always forget I am, but I am
Me
actually.
too.
It's the same thing as Instagram. So if you just go on my account, you'll see it. But I always forget about it, honestly. But it's kind of interesting how it's literally like Twitter.
It's a little scary. I mean, I got off the Twitter account a while ago, like after the merge happened. I was
never even
deactivated.
Had it.
Oh, really?
I never even had it. It was not in my interest. I had it I think for 24 hours. And it was like, that's weird. But
and now you're on Threads.
I know! It's weird. I don't really understand it. But I don't, honestly, at first I had fun. I was posting a lot. And now I literally forget it's existing sometimes.
I think I did one post. one post. But we're both on Threads, so make sure you follow us as well. And to all of you who are tuning in, thank you so much for joining us. Marilou, it has been amazing catching up with you. It's so nice to speak to you, not as a judge.
Right? It's so different, like, because I remember every time I talked to you was either like you were a workshop leader or a judge. It was never like the actually like connection type of thing. So it was really nice talking to you.
It is. I know it's the pageant world is very different. I mean, like you mentioned, I forgot I did that workshop last year. I hope you learned something.
Oh, it was. I actually use that technique now a lot when I'm not sure about things. So I love it so much.
Amazing. Well, that's great to know. And if you're all interested in wondering what she's talking about, follow me on my pageant coaching pages. And so I'll pull that through there. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Marilou, again, thank you so much for being an amazing queen and for sharing your story with the world. This is just the beginning for you. So everyone watching, please, please, please follow her journey. It's just started. Links will be in the description after this. Until then, Marilou, I hope to see you in person one day.
I hope to see you too. You're an amazing person. Like, I've been looking up to you so much when I started because Galaxy Pageants was a pageant that one of my friends was competing in. So it was really fun to like see you and talk to you.
You're so sweet. Well, hopefully, I mean, we manifest a lot on this show. So if I ever end up in Alberta or you end up here in Ontario, let's connect. And to everyone, connect with us online. And we will see you all in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.